My name's Jackie Bray. I'm a third-year student at the University of Michigan.
My name's Nadine Wu. I go to James Madison University.
My name's Liana Foxberg, and I go to Reed College.
My name is Jillian Johnson, and I'm a senior at Duke University.
Being part of this delegation made me realize that students are really powerful when they're connected to other networks.
We have 104 campuses that have signed on to honor the WRC's recommendations about how factories are treating their workers. And
I've done a lot of work with sort of looking at how clothes are made, clothes that are sold in the U.S. were made, and I really didn't feel like it was very real to me, like I was very connected to it. I think it's hard to conceptualize something like that if you haven't actually seen it or spoken to people who've experienced it, so I wanted to go to El Salvador to see for myself.
Meeting the workers meant a lot to me because I do this work a lot, and because I have invested a lot of my time and my life at college in it. It meant a lot to get to really meet the men and the women who are leading this struggle. You know, it's always my opinion that the workers in the Global South are leading the struggle around international solidarity, around organizing the maquilas, and so it was kind of like getting to meet the people that I felt I was taking leadership from for the last 2 years.
The main problem I think these workers are facing is that they have no self-determination. They're not given wages that are high enough to pay for even their family's basic needs, so they're forced to struggle every day just to put food on the table for their kids, to send their kids to school. And then when they go to work, they're abused by management. When they try to organize to improve their conditions, they get fired or worse.
What struck me the most was the incredible vicious attack on the right to organize, on the right of working people, whether, you know, anywhere in the world, having the power and having the respect to fight for better conditions for themselves.
There's still some workers who, of course, always believe that the union is to blame for the closure of the plant. But most of them have seen that the union has been fighting on their behalf.
In El Salvador, we were working with workers who were making Gap clothes whose factory had closed down. So a lot of the union intimidation that we heard came out of the Gap factories. So a lot of telling people, you know, that they don't have the right to stand up for, you know, their need to, you know, provide for their family was coming out of, you know, factories that produce for the Gap.
I think there are several ways for students to, you know, help with this struggle and help with the, you know, fight against the Gap. And one is to, you know, write letters to the Gap and demand that they take responsibility for the factories where they're producing. Another thing that I think is really important is to do delegations like what I did, because I think just the experience for me to have been able to go to El Salvador and Guatemala to see these conditions just makes it really real for me.
Students can help the situation by lending their support to the workers in El Salvador and just everywhere around the globe, because the workers emphasize that they need international support to gain, you know, to gain strength in their fight.
So, you know, students need to let the Gap stores know, let the Gap Corporation know that we're not going to deal with this anymore. That it, you know, that we're going to start looking at our labels, and we do understand what it means when that shirt says made, you know, made in El Salvador, made in Guatemala. If it's a Gap label, Gap's responsible for how it's getting produced.